Hi, y'all. This is a quick video about evaluating sources. Evaluating sources is a huge topic, and we're going to spend lots of time kind of digging into the messiness and like all of the different pieces of evaluating sources in the week to come. But as you're starting to do your research, there's just some information that we want for you to have before you really get started. Because the focus of the next few days is just immersing yourself in the conversation that's happening. We're being way more lenient about the kinds of sources that you interact with because we really do want for you to get a sense of what is everybody saying as you make your knowledge bank about your topic just really big and really broad. But I do want you to have just a little bit of information about where your information is coming from and be able to at least notice a handful of things. So the first thing that I want for you to notice is what kind of source it comes from. And specifically, I'm talking about the domains and what the different domains mean. So you'll notice that anytime you go to a website, I'm going to open something up right here, childmind.org, mayoclinic.org, nwpc.com. So I have orgs, coms. So whatever comes after that dot is called the domain type. And so if we look at the infographic here on the top right, a .com is a commercial business. A .edu is an educational institution. A .net is a network organization. A .org is a nonprofit organization. .gov is government website. .ca is from Canada. .uk is from the UK. So there are some ways to get a sense of kind of where the information comes from. Of course, your .edus, your .govs are some of the most fact-checked and reliable sources, but .orgs are often giving information that are related to nonprofits that are doing important work. And then .coms, as long as you're checking some of the other stuff, can sometimes have valuable information too. We just have to be a little bit more careful when looking at .coms, because often if you're a commercial business, then you are looking to gain something in exchange for the information that you're sharing. The second thing that I want for you to look at is relevance, and specifically, how long ago was it published? I recently had to fact check some information that was spreading like wildfire on Facebook about a crime that had happened and a person who should be punished for this particular crime. And when I punched it into a fact check, it was from 19 years ago, and it was just propaganda that was being recirculated. So right now that's happening a ton, is that images that happened in the past that aren't actually relevant to the issue are being recirculated. So I want for you to look for dates. There's publication dates usually within the article itself. I'm going to open one up at random. I have not opened this yet. It's a .com. And as I look through, I want to look at the top of it. I want to look through it. I want to look at the bottom of it. And the thing that I'm noticing on here is that there is no date available. So I don't know when this was last published. It's also a .com. So I wonder if I go back and I look at something that's like a .org, there's a clear date right here, December 21st, 2019. So I know the relevance. I know when this was published. And if any updates have happened since then, that information is available. So I want for you to be noticing whether or not the information is still relevant. If it happened 20 years ago, chances are things have changed since then. The last thing that I want for you to look at is authorship. So who wrote it? That could be, what is the organization that is responsible for it? What is the news media site that's responsible for it? Or who is the actual person that authored the article or the piece of information? So if we look back at the Mayo Clinic one, it's just by Mayo Clinic staff. If we look back at some other ones, let's just randomly pick one of these scholarly articles. It's going to take forever, but I guess that there's probably going to be the journal where it was published, in addition to the actual names of the authors. So all of that stuff will be readily available in some of these sites. If you're noticing, like right here, we have the names of the authors and the journal wherein it was published. So just notice those sorts of things. And then if there's a reason they were writing it, is it an editorial competition? Lots of the ones that we talked about, that's what it's there for. Is it an organization? Are they trying to sell something? Like, what is the purpose of the information, to determine whether or not it's good, reliable, non-biased information, or at least being promoted to do good and not evil. And then there are just a couple things about like Wikipedia and Reddit, that you should just steer clear from when you're doing actual research that you're going to do in your research paper. I think for the sake of what you're doing first, it's not a bad idea to consult some of these sources. They are written by people, so they're not considered like just random people anyone can post. And so they're not vetted and they're not fact checked most of the time. Things can slip through the cracks and they're not like peer reviewed. So if you are going to read stuff on there, make sure that you are filtering it, and knowing and acknowledging that it may not be reliable information. But if you're just trying to get a sense of what people are saying and what kinds of information is out there for the purpose of this, for this part of your writing process, it might not be a total no-go. It's just not going to fit, for the actual research part of this project.